With another matter, we touched on it just a moment ago, Antony Blinken's visit to Beijing. Was it a success from the Secretary of State?
Look, I think it was. My interpretation of what the Biden administration is trying to do is that they're trying to just establish some guardrails and put a level of stability underneath the US-China relationship. The US-Soviet relationship all through the Cold War had deep mechanisms for consultation and crisis management and avoidance of accidental conflict. Now, the Chinese have been absolutely resistant to doing that sort of thing with the Americans. Even now, they refuse to resume direct military-to-military contact, which makes all their ultra-aggressive manoeuvring in the waters around Taiwan and Japan and the South China Sea very, very dangerous. It would be a pity if the Biden administration is changing its policy on China, but I don't think that's what it's doing. I think it's just going to keep up the strategic competition, but try to have a level of dialogue and management of the day-to-day relationship. That can be a little confusing for a Democratic electorate to work out what's going on, but Blinken is a very sober, very capable Secretary of State, and I think that this was a sensible visit. You want to see the two greatest powers on earth talking to each other.
Indeed, those guardrails, as you put it, quite important, very important, in fact. Now, on another matter, I'm interested in your thoughts on what Jackie Lambie, the independent senator, has done in referring the top brass to the International Criminal Court. Hard to see anything coming of it, really, given the ICC only gets involved when countries don't take credible action in the face of claims of war crimes. And you'd be hard-pressed to say Australia hasn't taken a credible response through Brereton and now the Office of the Special Investigator.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kieran. Nothing will come of this. But nonetheless, I think I'm with Jackie Lambie emotionally. I don't believe our senior officers are war criminals or anything like that. But there is an absolute lack of accountability in defence above the level of corporal. No one above the level of corporal ever gets accused of anything. General Angus Campbell, the Chief of the Defence Force, he'll get medals pinned on his chest for all the good things that the diggers do in Australia's name. But if they ever do any bad things, he won't take any responsibility for it. And that's true all through the defence establishment. Okay. And the International Criminal Court is not the place for Australian soldiers. They won't take any action against Australia, and nor should they. But what Lambie has done, there's an emotional truth to it. The absolute lack of accountability. And now, the one reform we're going to get out of this is we're going to put cameras on our special service soldiers. So we're going to say to them, we believe you are criminals until you are proven innocent, and we are going to render you completely incapable of conducting combat operations when they're the only part of the whole Australian Defence Force that does any combat operations. So what is alleged to have happened in Afghanistan is very serious and very bad, but we shouldn't make bad matters worse.